There we go. Welcome, everybody. Joe and Mike here with you on this Monday night edition of Joe Quills. Joe and Mike, welcome in.
Hey, Joe.
Uh, there we go. Now you can see us. Yeah, it's been a weird day. Uh, it's Monday, but for me, it's actually a Tuesday
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
because I'm off on Friday,
yeah.
3 day weekend. Because in the union world, Friday is a good day to have a holiday because get me a couple of nails and just put me up for the night. It's Good Friday. But one thing I don't understand, and maybe you can explain this to me.
Okay,
Probably won't be able to.
okay.
Why is it there's all these Holy Thursday memes with Batman and Robin, but there's none of Robin Williams screaming Good Friday Vietnam.
That is a good question, and I do not have an answer.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah, you're right.
But but point well taken
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I go there on early on Friday morning. If I get up early because I haven't been doing that. I mean, yesterday I didn't get up till like 11:30. I looked at my phone; it's like 7:30. All right,
Right?
so I roll over. Next thing you know, it's 11:30. I'm like, so much for any morning things I wanted to do. But
It happens.
yeah, I know. But just a quick thought there about the Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Week. A lot of people in Bridesburg and Port Richmond are wearing holes with clothes in them, with holes in them. It's Holy Week.
Okay, yeah, I got
Yeah, it's a little cold to do that. Not today, but
you. No, definitely not today.
I think Wednesday is supposed to be a little cooler.
I think, yeah, today and tomorrow will be nice. Yeah, I think temperatures dip on Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, and I gotta vent for a second here.
Okay, be my guest.
How lazy are people? Now, I had to make an emergency run to Dunkin'
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think I had any creamer,
Okay.
or for whatever reason I ran to Dunkin'. Somebody in my building, don't know what room they're in. Otherwise, I would have reported them and say, "Hey, listen, you're so worried about the trash. Tell these stupid people that what they did. You know." And they usually the trash company that hauls away all the trash that we have because you saw the two different dumpsters we have,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Well, I know that they're a product of the Philadelphia public school system, but um, I know that they empty that out probably every Monday through Friday.
Okay.
I mean, probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday, guaranteed, but
Right.
maybe all 5 days. I don't know. But I'll be able to tell you that. I'll be able to confirm a little bit of that of because of the fact that now that the heat is off,
Yeah.
I might be able to have a couple of nights where the nights will be really nice weather and I can have the windows open. And I'll lay the wrong way on my arm. It'll wake me up at 6 o'clock, and I'll be like, "Hey, Google, what time it is? Is it? It's 6:22 a.m. Oh, fuck me."
Right.
So, and sometimes I'll just hear the bang, bang that the dumpsters do because they lift it up.
Yeah.
Apparently, whatever they do. So I was going to say something, but it was a woman. I couldn't tell the person with her was a guy or a girl or somebody that's transitioning from one to the other. I don't know. Whatever they want to do, go right ahead. What they did, and I know this because I went out there about 1:45 when I had email time at Redacted Company
Right.
because I was like, I gotta get to trash, or maybe it was on my break. The The dumpster was completely empty except for maybe 2 bags.
Okay.
These idiots don't realize that all you have to do is lift the door and throw it in. They just left it in front of the dumpster.
You say they have to lift the door and throw it in.
Yeah.
So in other words, they need to lift the door
Mm-hmm.
and throw it in.
Or if you're that lazy,
Right?
that second dumpster, which is behind the other building,
Yeah.
that has a broken door on it. So guess what? You can see how full or empty it is.
Wow.
But, just the little things. I thought, do I want to call and say, hey, can you do something like, can you make something up? Like maybe a whole shitload of rodents went into Glendale Arms because this is Glendale Court. But I didn't. I was like, no, I don't feel like dealing with the bullshit. But it's just how lazy people are,
That's true.
both physically and mentally.
That's true.
But I don't know. Just a little thing that pissed me off over the weekend. But otherwise, it was a nice, quiet weekend. And then, I got to see the Phillies game on Saturday, watched the Phillies game on Sunday, and I thought, oh, the golf tournament's going on, the Masters. So I'm sitting here, I'm playing my out of the park baseball game because I'm trying to set up my bizarre world of promotion relegation with all the former team names and all that stuff.
Right?
So I'm sitting here about 4:45 when the game ended. I'm like, oh, golf's on. And I'm sitting here. Rory's got a 4-shot lead or whatever it was. It was like 4 before he chunked one into into the creek.
Right.
So I'm like, he's got a 4-shot lead. I think that's safe to go to the store. But then I started going back to my game. I look up, I should go to the store. I look up, all of a sudden it's a 1-shot lead. I'm like, oh shit. So next thing I know, it was 7:30. He wins the Masters, and oh shit, I didn't go to the store.
Rory wanted to make it exciting for us. That's all.
But I did go to the store. So,
Okay.
so yeah, I got dinner for last night and tomorrow night, and just little things here and there because I pretend to be a little person.
Ah.
I represent the Lollipop Guild. But
Is that what that is?
yeah,
I got it.
I would like to welcome you to Munchkin Land or something like that. But yeah, so Rory won the Masters, and I do have to say one thing. Let me find it here because I got reminded of it all day yesterday or last night. Uh, Let me find it
Okay. I'm still waiting.
because I got to share. Here it is. And I don't think I put this on my Twitter, but I definitely put it on Facebook. And my high school friends were giving me a bunch of shit. It says, reminder, if you put $100 to win on Rory McIlroy, you'll be out $100. Oops. Wait a second. I got to share my screen here because I'm a dumbass. There you go. Wait, let me. Oh, we're on there. No, you're not on here yet, so hold on. Yeah.
Hi.
I forgot I got to fix that every week. But yeah, if you put $100 to win on Rory McIlroy, you'll be out $100. Well, both me and Agar willed Rory McIlroy to the Masters and his Grand Slam.
Wow.
Because I actually got that from Annie Agar because she does these sarcastic jokes from time to time with her things, and you know.
Mhm.
But it was kind of like the joke that I had for the Indy 500 for like 4, 5, 6 years. There was a there was a driver. I think he might have retired. I'm not sure. His name was Willpower,
Okay.
and I caught the alert on my phone at the perfect time because it was brand new. Nothing came up in front of it. Everything was great. It says, I think it was Helio Castroneves who won the year. Helio Castroneves wins Indy 500. Will Power finishes second. And the joke was that I had for a couple years until he finally won was, see, willpower will only get you so far. So think of it like that.
Right.
And, a couple of people were, like some of the comments I have on here. Um, if you pay $100 for right on cues whale pick package, you'll be out of $10,000. Nice call on this. Don't you ever get tired of being wrong all the time? I said anything, get Rory the Grand Slam.
Right.
So I said it. I mean, all high school buddies are giving me a bunch of shit, but people that you know they like were shocked or whatever. But it was all in good fun. But Rory did win, and damn it, there we go.
We're back.
Yes, we are. Sorry about that, but yeah, so he won, and um, man, we would have had one hell of a topic tonight if he blew that 4 shot lead.
Oh, you're right
Es-
about that.
especially considering the first 2 weeks of sports has been nothing but choke jobs.
Yeah.
Duke
Yep.
in the semifinals,
Right.
Houston in the national championship,
Right.
and could have been Rory in there as well.
Yeah.
But Rory did find a way to win. Uh, who finished second in that? Who was in the tiebreaker? Who was in
Oh,
the
it's Frank.
uh,
Justin somebody?
Justin Verlander?
No, he's pitching right.
Uh,
I think it's Justin.
no, Justin Verlander. Justin Rose.
Yeah.
Let me just confirm that because I am drawing a blank here. Uh, yeah, Justin Rose.
He's a good friend.
So you end up with um, Rory winning. Rory did something that he did two things that no Masters champion has done. The first one I told you before the show. He's the first guy to win a Masters to complete a Grand Slam. It was that he actually um, um, the other guys that won Grand Slams, they wanted they
Right.
completed the slam in another major.
Right.
Whereas Rory was the first to complete it at Augusta.
Okay. Cool.
And, you know, he, you know, he, he kept fighting back. He kept thinking, oh, he's going to choke. Then he makes this crazy shot.
Right.
Then he chokes again.
Right.
Then he makes another great shot. He gets
Yeah.
18. He has a chance to win. He misses the putt. They go into sudden death. And Justin Rose was so far behind, and he came back. He was the beneficiary of all of that. And Bryson DeChambeau, he choked.
Yeah, he did.
Um, but
I thought it was two things that McElroy did.
oh yeah. And the other thing, he is the first golfer to have four double bogeys or worse and still wins the tourney.
That was an eye opener. I'm like, I can see one, maybe I can see two. He did four.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, he pulled a Happy Gilmore.
yeah, he did.
By the way, Happy Gilmore comes out in July.
Oh, the second one.
Yeah. So, you know, but Rory won it. And, I got caught in the final round and I thought, oh, this is over. I mean, this is just as bad as watching the Phillies game for 2.5 hours. You'd think the Phillies have a chance to at least do something on Sunday because you have Zach Wheeler on the mound, and
I would think that.
I'm like, all right, well, I guess it's on the golf. Let's see. Oh, Rory's up 4. Go back to this for a second, and then I look again. I'm like, fuck me. Then next thing you know, it's 7:30, 7:15, something like that. But he wins it. Congrats to him. Somebody tried to spread a rumor that the woman he was hugging was his wife or something, but I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not going to. Somebody was starting shit on Facebook today, but um, um, don't know who it was now. Damn it. Um, okay, so this was something that I saw. Actually, I saw it last night watching. Um, whoops. No, I don't want to do that yet. Jordan Spieth. He was going through the patrons, as they call it, because you can't say gallery, you can't say fans, any of that stuff. It's got to be patrons. It's got to be first nine and second nine and all that bullshit that they tell you.
Right.
Well, watch what Jordan Spieth does here. Watch what he does.
Okay. Oh, dang. Jordan.
I gotta play it a second time, right?
Right?
There's no sound on this, so hi, yeah. Wearing a cup there or something.
Okay, Jordan.
Well, that was Jordan Spieth, and um, um, you know, and of course it went viral across social media as you would expect. However, it was soon clarified that the man on the receiving end was likely his manager.
Okay.
But um, but he Jordan Spieth had already courted controversy at Augusta for breaking an unwritten rule on Saturday. He risked angering Augusta officials by discussing the issue of mud balls at the Masters. The pristine appearance belies a common problem where balls become coated in mud due to the grass being mowed in the direction of the tee boxes. After carding a third round 69, nice number, to reach one under par, Spieth broke the tournament's unwritten rule of silence on the matter. He felt his iron play had suffered significantly because of the conditions. Um,
He should know better.
so, so he gave him a love tap, and you know, so that was allegedly his manager that got the love tap there.
Oh.
The testing to see if his testicles still work or not. Oh, you didn't feel that? Oh, your testicles must be dead.
Right.
But whatever. He's fine, and you know, but Rory wins the Masters, and we'll see what he has on the Champions Dinner menu when Masters Week starts next year.
We'll find out.
And now he's the only guy that can get an in-season Grand Slam
That's true.
because he's the guy that won the first one. So, um, but yeah. So while all the stuff was going on yesterday, the Flyers were losing to Ottawa yesterday.
Yeah.
By the way, Tampa Bay's up 15-1.
Ouch.
And by the way, for those that are watching that game or gamble, if you had parlayed their 9 starters in the lineup with 1 RBI to get at least 1 RBI, for $1, you would have won 35,000.
That would have been.
That is from Pickett Sports on um, Twitter. Yeah, so the Flyers lost to they lost to Ottawa yesterday, 4-3 in overtime. Flyers got 2 games left, thank God. Sixers completed their scintillating season,
Yes.
5-31 in the second half of the year. You can tell that they were tanking like motherfuckers. But what was more surprising? Rory, the way that Rory won, or the fact that Nick Nurse and Daryl Morey are coming back next year?
Oh. I'm going to say the second one.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah.
But there weren't any real rumors that they were going after this year. You know how, like, sometimes you're like, oh, I mean, I'm sure 97.5 and WIP, they were both too busy talking about the Eagles and everything to worry about that. But, maybe you get a little bit from 97.5 because that's where the basketball games are. But they're coming back, and, I mean, you got you got reason to you got reason to keep one or the other, you know, because the team was hurt as much. I mean, their big guys were hurt. Even the new kid that they had uh, drafted, he was looking like rookie of the year candidate. Then he got hurt with his meniscus. Um, yeah, I said because he was actually supposed to be on the Sixers broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch the game, but I said on my Instagram, which goes to my Facebook, my Insta stories. I said, when the season's gone to shit, you can do some experimental stuff like this. Like Mike Tirico even called a game in the second half of the year,
Yes,
which was worth it, even though I didn't totally pay attention to the game or anything like that. Um, but after the Sixers concluded their injury-riddled and disastrous season to the Bulls, President of Basketball Operations Daryl Morey said he and Coach Nick Nurse will be back next season and assess everything and avoid it happening again. Wait, Daryl Morey? I mean, the way that reads, Daryl Morey can bring himself back next year and he's not getting fired?
That's what it sounds like.
But, I mean, I know it's probably just the way it was written, but I think what he should have said was, I'm allowed back next year. They know this is a one time thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I guarantee you, they start off as bad as they did last year. I think they started off pretty bad earlier this year, right? Hold on, let me just double check it.
If I'm not mistaken, they were not good the first part of the year.
They were not good the first part, second part, third part, fourth part.
Right.
Yeah, they started off 1-7. So, you had all these injuries, and it just compounded and compounded and compounded. And I mean, when you have your 3 best players all out at one point, for the most part, you know, you plan on doing something, it just doesn't happen. But um, Maury said, obviously, tough season, not where we expected to be. No shit.
You
Uh,
kept it obvious.
we expected more. We really feel for the fans who put their heart and soul into this team, and we know we've let you down. Ownership gave us the resources to make aggressive moves this offseason to put a championship roster around Joel Embiid and Therese Maxey. And sometimes those aggressive moves don't initially work out, but we feel good about them. Well, my hands feel good, doing certain things too. Um, but not surprisingly, Philadelphia had one of the worst records at 24-58, despite a roster that was initially believed and expected to compete for a championship. Um, the news conference was filled with reasons for the poor season and lessons learned. Lesson learned: we suck.
That's lesson number one.
Yeah,
Lesson number two, refer to lesson number
yeah.
one. Yeah.
The biggest reason was injuries because Embiid and there's rumors going around. I don't know how true they are, but a lot of the keyboard warriors will start shit and whatever, and I don't know, and a lot of these blog sites, they will start certain things. I even tried to start things every now and then, but like tonight, I said, all right, Taiwan Walker's back to his usual self,
You were right.
but um, but Embiid probably rushed back too soon.
Yeah.
Played in the Olympics, probably shouldn't have played in the Olympics. Everything. He got the gold medal. What did he do? He didn't get anything else this year.
You sure didn't.
But um, Embiid had arthroscopic surgery the other day in New York. He was limited to 19 games. Paul George played 41. Maxey played 52. Do you know how many games they shared the court together?
I'm thinking maybe 10.
Not bad, 15. And for less than 300 minutes overall.
Not going to do it.
Still, Maury expressed optimism about the health of all three players, insisting all would be 100% next season. That included Embiid, who'd been dealing with nagging knee issues for over a year. Well, did anybody ask him how his testicles were? Because, they were so worried about the knee, but nobody noticed the nut shot he took, even though it was an inadvertent nut shot.
Yeah.
I mean, just as inadvertent as Jordan Spieth doing it to his manager. But Maury said it's been a very complex situation for Joel, medical staffs, and for outside folks like Dr. Glasshow, whoever he is, and others, figuring out uh, exactly the right next step to make sure we can put him in the best way to help our team win the championship. It's not straightforward, blah 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 blah. But it's just it's you just wonder, will Embiid just say, "Trade me right fucking now"? Will he pull that off? Not to the extent that James Harden did, where
Oh, no, hope not.
where he ended up getting fined for that.
Right.
I think Joel Embiid has a little bit of class in him that he would be like, well, if you want to trade me, trade me. If you're going to keep me here, keep me here. One of those things. But it just seems like that. You know, I mean, I don't want to say he's injury prone because that type of injury he had was a freak injury that occurred.
True.
You know, but I mean, what's a freak injury? What's not? You know, it's like if you're always blowing out uh, hamstrings and calves and stuff like that, then yeah, you're injury prone.
Yeah.
But I think you just have to realize that maybe, even though he is injury prone, maybe he's just, you know, little bit of bad luck involved because he was having an all-time season. I mean, he was having a Wilt Chamberlain type season,
He was.
including the 20,000 women. But
Yeah.
you delayed on that, you know that,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
right? It's like
Take the lid on
it's
that one.
like the fuck. Oh, ha 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 ha,
Yeah. You know, take the lid.
fucker. So, um, so Maury said several times that next year's roster will be younger and more dynamic to make up for that because you also have the rookie that had meniscus injury and had to get surgery on that too. Springer, I think it was.
I think so.
Let me see. Let me make sure I got that name right. But Jared McCain. Jeez,
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't even close. Jesus Christ.
Where were you? You were down on
Uh,
Alderman? You should have been on Cotton? Is that what it was?
no, I was in West Philly with that one. Um,
Could have been at 22nd Lehigh.
yeah, I'd rather be there when the Connie Mack was still there.
21st Lehigh. Yeah.
Yeah, so you had all these different injuries. I mean, you had injuries to even the scrub players in the last few games. So,
That wasn't good.
but it is what it is. So, um,
Well, I did hear one of the sports writers say that just because you have all the talent doesn't mean that you're going to win.
huh.
You have to have that mix.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah.
I think McCain's a hell of a player.
Yeah.
He probably would have won. He probably would have won Rookie of the Year if he didn't blow out his knee. And would it be that fourth piece that came out of nowhere? But instead he got hurt. Then everybody else continued to get hurt or stay hurt, and next thing you know, you're tanking games left and right.
Well, that Ricky Council the fourth, he was playing
Yeah,
good the last 5 or 10 games.
yeah,
Yeah. So we have some pieces, just a matter of putting it
hmm
together.
yeah. I think they'll be able to piece it together next year. If not, you get off to another slow start again.
Yep.
But the Sixers closed the season with a 5-31 record, so that gave them the fifth spot in the draft next month. So they have a 64% chance of hanging on to that pick. Who thinks the lottery will be rigged that you'll get there and the seventh pick in the NBA draft goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder from the Philadelphia 76ers? Me too.
Yep.
Because it was obvious tanking.
Yeah.
I mean, you're holding players out, you're being mysterious. And also, Joel Embiid should have beat the shit out of Marcus Hayes if he was going to get 3 games. If you're going to get 3 games, make it worth your while.
Right.
So I just think the NBA doesn't like that the Sixers took tanking to a new level with the process. Now, this was not the process. The process has actually been over a couple of years. It's just whatever. It's just that we call it process 2.0, 3.0, 4.69, whatever.
Right.
Only because, the process didn't work to begin with because, you're drafting players and most of them sucked. Okafor, Simmons, those are just two there. Those are enough
That's enough right there.
to make
Right
my
there.
point. But I just look at everything and the NBA hasn't really been that fixed lately, especially with Shrek as the commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, Adam Silver. But something tells me, for whatever reason, whether it's the seventh or the eighth, because I think they picked the top four. They pick four teams, I think now. Like it's like four. They have four hoppers.
Oh yeah, 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 right.
With 12, 13 balls or 13, 12, whatever they do.
Right.
So they draw the first ball. They draw the second ball. They draw the ball from Barbaro. Oh, I'm sorry. They draw the third one. They draw the fourth one, and like it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, who's 1, 2, 3, 4? Oh, it's the Sixers in one. I can tell you right now, even though the lottery has the last couple of years come up with some goofy results.
Yeah.
Let me just check something here. Let me see if I can find it on Wiki. Here it is. Okay, like last year, Atlanta won the lottery with the ninth worst record. Washington, Houston, and San Antonio. Detroit, that had the first pick,
Right.
or had the best chance, end up with the fifth pick. So four teams leapfrogged them. But but it doesn't tell me, I don't think. It doesn't say. So I was looking to see what the odds were going into it. But I also think since you don't have enough basketball leagues in the United States to do promotion relegation, because I've told you, I just feel like what you need to do is bring promotion relegation to the United States. That'll stop tanking.
Yeah.
Because when you're losing revenue and you see those fans pissed off that they're not going to be at the top level, watch English Premier League in about a month or so. If a team is right on the edge of staying in the Premier League or dropping down a level,
Yeah.
and they end up losing, and um, they end up getting relegated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is like the Dallas Cowboys losing 8-9 at home last year. I mean, you took a look at that crowd, and every game was the same thing.
Yeah.
The woman would be whispering to her boyfriend or husband, whoever, "We can still watch that VCS tape." But if you that's the only way it's going to happen. Now they are bringing relegation to the USL, which is the second tier soccer league in the United States. I think they're they they're going to challenge MLS for the number one soccer position, and maybe they morph together and turn into a four level ladder or whatever. Um, but since you can't get, since you don't have enough leagues in the United States where you can have promotion relegation, also with the fact that we have that farm system set up in baseball, in basketball, and hockey, it's near impossible to get everything set up that way because you own the rights for this guy even though he's not playing on your team. He's playing for your AAA team, or he's playing at the AHL, or he's playing in the G League or anything like that. You can't really do anything. But I think if you're not going to do that, you have to change the whole format of the draft.
That's true.
And I think what you got to do is you got to give every team one ball. Then you weight it on what teams have missed the playoffs most recently. Now, you could do 3 years, you could do 5 years, nothing more than 5 years. But if you make the playoffs, or if you miss the playoffs, you get 5 balls for the most recent year. You get 4 more for that other year, then 3, then 2, then 1. So you have a possibility of 16 chances. But the thing is, you only have like a 200 and some possibilities.
Right.
But everybody will say, well, what about the Lakers? They won a championship a couple of years ago and blah, blah, blah. I thought that out too. If you win a championship, you lose a ball.
Ah.
So, who won last year? I don't even know. It's escaping me. Boston.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think Boston's been in the playoffs each of the last 5 years. So if they didn't win a championship, they would have 1 ball.
Right.
They beat John Kruk. By the way, thank God John Kruk wasn't there tonight for $1 dog or 2 for $5 dog night, because you had to have Ruben on there tonight. And personally, I think Ruben's the best of the 3 color commentators, but that's just me. Um, if you're in the playoffs all 5 years, you get 1 chance, which is like less than 1%, I think.
Right.
But if you win a championship, you have 0 shot if you made the playoffs each of the last 5 years. So, but I think you have to get away from that the weighted odds, because oh well, we get more of a shot if we tank the season like the Sixers did.
Unbelievable.
And I know we're going all over the place with the Sixers here, but I mean, if you would have told me, do we fire Nick Nurse? I would said maybe. Do you fire Daryl Morey? Maybe. But they didn't.
No, they did.
But both guys are, I would think, would be on a short leash.
You would think so.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
And also congrats as well
Okay.
to the Denver coach, the Denver interim coach.
Yeah.
He may be, and I'm not sure if this is the case or not, he is the first head coach, interim or not, that goes into the playoffs undefeated.
Really? They won their last 2 or 3 games or something?
Went 3-0, yeah.
Really? You might have something there.
But but I heard that Denver, their team was all bitchy and moany because of him being there, and somehow he survived 10 years, and he won a championship, and and they tuned him out afterwards.
They sure did.
But and might as well show the brackets here.
Can't believe Golden State lost on their home court and had a chance to be off for a week, but they lost to the Clippers.
Yeah, it happens. Tampa Bay is up 16-1 in the ninth.
Jeez.
Wait a second. Let me find this. Wait, where did I see the actual graphic for the bracket? Here it is. So here's the bracket, and let me share my screen.
Okay. Excuse you while you share the screen.
Excuse me while I whip this out. All right, so there's the bracket. We'll start in the West because it's on the left-hand side of the screen. Golden State plays Memphis tomorrow night. Winner will get the 7 seed. The loser plays in the elimination game there. And dare I say one thing?
What's that?
With John Morant playing for Memphis, I think they got a real good shot.
Yeah, they do.
You didn't get the joke.
Yeah, I got it.
The finger guns
The figure,
and
yeah,
all the other
they got a
guns.
good shot. Yeah.
So, and then you have Sacramento facing Dallas. Losers eliminated. The winner goes to the elimination game here, which I believe is on Friday, Thursday or Friday.
So both of them have losing records.
Um, hold on.
I think they do.
Sacramento and Dallas both have losing records. Sacramento's 40 and 42. Dallas is 39 and 43. Golden State and Memphis are both 48 and 34. And aside from Oklahoma City, everybody else is bunched up from 2 to 8. Um, so whoever wins that second game will play OKC, who went 68 and 14 this year.
Who would have thought?
Houston will get whoever wins this game tomorrow night. Lakers and Minnesota, and Denver and the Clippers.
Clippers will probably win that series.
You got an undefeated coach there.
Yep.
Sarcasm. So in the East, you have Orlando hosting Atlanta. Atlanta once again plays in the play-in tournament,
Again.
and the winner gets to play the Boston Celtics. And then I think this has been a matchup a couple of times as well. Chicago and Miami. That'll be Chicago, Chicago. And then the winner of the 9-10 and the loser of the 8-9 go here. And they end up playing Cleveland.
Gotcha.
And then we have a rematch of Indiana and Milwaukee. And, Doc Rivers proved that he can lose in the first round of a tournament like he did last year.
Yep.
And then the Knicks take on Detroit, the surprise team of the league.
Yes, they are.
I mean, they had to get back to normal. I mean, they had to get back to winning sometime.
That's true.
But, now the Knicks should win that. But, the Knicks really haven't really impressed me this year. But Cleveland went 64 and 18, Boston 61 and 21, New York 51 and 31, Pacers 50 and 32. Now, here's something crazy here.
What's that?
Now, in the old seeding rules, and this is definitely something that happens in the NFL, but they fixed this issue in the NBA. Orlando technically won the Southeast Division. They were 41 and 41. But the thing is, they don't go by that anymore. Even though they do have the divisions and everything,
right?
They still went 41 and 41. There you go.
Okay.
I'll zoom in on this a little bit too. So there's Orlando, 41 and 41. The Southeast Division champs get the parade started at Magic Kingdom.
Right.
But they won the division, but they are the 7th seed and they have to play in. So this could be a possibility that the Orlando Magic win a division and does not technically get into the playoffs.
Hmm.
Because technically, the play-in tournament is its own entity.
That's true.
It's not the playoffs. It's not the regular season. It's like purgatory. So there's a possibility Orlando could lose 2 straight games and they're out.
That's crazy.
A division winner may not make the playoffs.
So crazy.
Now, this is why they reseeded like this, because you would always have a 1 and a 2, and then the 3 would actually be the 7 like this is. Now, okay, you're stuck as the 7 seed, but, you know, maybe if this happens again, you might have to readdress the playoff seedings, you know, but in terms of the playoffs here, it's weird that you have a 500 team winning the division.
That's true.
But and there you see the West here. Oklahoma City won by 18 games. Lakers technically win the division, not that anybody cares. And Houston won by 4 games over Memphis, even though we actually go by this now. So even though they technically won divisions and they finish up 1, 2, 3 there in the standings, luckily enough, um, yeah, and there you have the 5 teams that are counting lottery balls already. Phoenix, well, Phoenix isn't. Portland, San Antonio, New Orleans, and Utah is whoever has Phoenix's pick is counting balls. Because Phoenix is the only team to not be in the tournament, not be in the playoffs, and does not have a draft pick.
That's that's not a good trifecta to have.
Technically, the Sixers could be the other team if they drop down to 7, and that could conceivably happen.
Yes, it could.
I just had that strange feeling the NBA is going to say, "Guess what, guys? We're fixing this. You're not getting your draft pick. Fuck you." I just get that feeling that's going to happen. But um, so the NBA that starts tomorrow, even though and Brenton is here. Yeah, we were talking about that beforehand, and yeah, I don't want to bring too much on it because it was. I mean, I might as well bring it up. Apparently, some of the background that was on this was that um, he was pursued by authorities. Let me find on here. Negligent homicide, felony hit, run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. He crashed into somebody, and the crash killed the other driver or whoever was in the car. Some of it is a little hazy, but um, uh, he was accused of causing a crash that killed a 78-year-old man on December 17th, and then fleeing the scene without rendering aid or calling authorities. It's legalese for hit and run. He turned himself in January 12th, was jailed, released on $151,000 bail, according to police records. So, um, um, so he was facing criminal charges, and apparently he was being pursued by authorities and did what he did. You know, I'm not going to say he unalived himself or anything like that because I'll just because we're too sensitive. You can't say that he offed himself or anything like that or whatever. But he just I mean I mean if it's an admission of guilt, whatever you want to say, but obviously there were some issues there, and unfortunately, um, he chose that instead of whatever you would want him to do. But
Yeah.
so. But yeah, I didn't really want to talk about that tonight because I was had a couple of different things here. Um, so when I mentioned the words Captain America, even though I told you this story already,
Yeah.
who do you think of?
Steve Rogers.
Okay. Well, apparently there is a Captain America for the World Baseball Classic. And ladies and gentlemen, his name, Aaron Judge.
Oh, all hail the judge.
So Aaron Judge was named the team captain for Team USA for the 2026 World Baseball Classic.
Okay.
Team USA manager Mark DeRosa said yesterday. And I think it was just a perfect opportunity because I think the Yankees are in New York, if not today, tomorrow. Let me double check that.
Because I think they were in Tampa Bay yesterday.
Yeah, they're in the Bronx tomorrow to face the Royals.
Gotcha. Okay.
Wait, they played today, right? No, they played tonight. They
They played
played. They
today?
won 4-1.
Okay.
Okay. So, um, even though it's like a 10 months away from the 10 months away from the main portion of the World Baseball Classic, Aaron Judge was the first announced Team USA member. He's the captain of the team, and he'll be making his WBC debut. He did not play in 23 when Team USA, also managed by DeRosa, by the way, went to University of Pennsylvania,
Ah,
lost to Japan in the title game. Mike Trout served as the captain of the team. Um, so Judge got all misty about the United States, getting a chance to represent this country, what this country means to me. Honestly, every game during the national anthem, blah 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 blah. Now, getting a chance to have USA across my chest to represent all the great people in our country and represent what this country means. It's a great opportunity. I never had this opportunity before, even growing up as a kid, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. So, and the thing is, you know, he put himself in that position because he's 8'3". He's got that natural uppercut swing that leads him to hit 97 home runs.
yep.
You know, you have that opportunity to hit all those homers.
Yep.
And with the way the ballparks are now, because they're all so tight and small, and you know, do chicks still dig the long ball? Remember those commercials?
Right.
Do chicks still dig the long ball, or is that offensive too?
That's probably a little offensive too.
Yeah. So, but you know, he has another hot start in 2025. Or actually, um, Judge said, and I think he was joking around with this because this is only in text. I didn't get to see the press conference or anything like that or any video of it.
Okay.
I got an opportunity. I got an opportunity before I get too old and Mark doesn't want me anymore. That's just like something I would say.
You would say that, though.
Yeah,
You would, yeah.
yeah. Um, Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager, said, I think it's the perfect face to be captain of the team." Um, Mark DeRosa said that he told Trout about his decision to go with Judge as captain on Sunday. Trout said he's the one.
Okay.
So I think he realizes, um, even though Mike Trout's been hurt so much over the last few years, they're basically 1-1A.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had two captains were able to do it and all that, so be it. It's not that, but um, but he's going to be the captain. Um, but we'll see what happens with all that, and we'll see how the teams will be in there, and Andy Pettit will be serving as the pitching coach. Um, the first round of games in their group, the group games. They'll be in a group with Britain, Brazil, Italy, and Mexico. You know, I mean, considering it's professional baseball, not really world beaters, but you know. So there's four groups. There's a group in Houston, a group in Miami, a group in Tokyo, and a group in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And the semifinals and finals are in Miami. And the Miami Marlins are proud to host it because it is the only two games out of the year where fans actually show up to the stadium.
You got a point there. You
Yeah,
got a point there.
yeah.
They do not show up at all.
Hmm. I mean, but I think it's like it's tough area to get in and out of. I mean, I don't know, but it's going to get even tougher now because they are building the Inter Miami Stadium right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be even more congested and all that stuff. So, but
If I'm not mistaken, when they won the championship, they still wasn't selling out.
no, the fans showed up for the playoffs. That's about it.
That's about, yeah.
I mean, it was like it's like you know you look at the stories here and everything, and next thing um, you know, um, you have interest in the team. It's like, oh shit, we got to remove these fucking tarps.
Right?
So, but you know, they did what they had to do. You know, they knew when it was time to sell more tickets because the demand was there, and you know, it is what it is. Oh, by the way, congrats to Alex Ovechkin.
Oh, boy.
He broke his own record. He scored his 896 goal last night.
Did he?
He broke
Alex.
he broke his own record.
Yes, he did. Alex. He might get the 900.
Well, next year,
Who's he now? 890 what?
896.
Oh, yeah, he won't. They got two more games left,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he won't score 4 goals.
yeah.
Right.
And I know a couple of times before we get to our final story here. I know a couple of times when we got done the show and I click end broadcast, you said you didn't promote also eligible. Well, fucker, I'm going to do it now. If you watch also eligible on Saturday, I did give you guys a winner on Saturday, and it was a good one too. I gave you, even though the announcer was um, mispronouncing the name, I think the name was Schwazia, but they were calling it Choisia or something like that. I showed the two races that mare had in Dubai, and that horse did find out the people of Dubai do not like the Flintstones, but the people of Abu Dhabi do. But apparently, she found her ways in Dubai, and I can't think of a good joke to go with that. So one race I showed, she was on the lead, very slow pace, and then boom, kicked off and won by about 7.
Wow.
The next month, another race, a little bit longer, at the top of the stretch, took off, won, got a little challenge there.
Yeah.
Take her to Keeneland to run into Grade One Jenny Wiley. I said, "This is your horse right here. She's got a closing kick, unlike the other ones here.
Right.
This is a powerful kick that you want to have." And don't you know, that horse won.
Wow.
Now I had to sit through a objection because the horse did go out a little bit,
Right.
but it didn't affect the horse's finish. So you know, depending on what jurisdiction and all that, you know, you might have gotten a DQ, but Kentucky didn't allow it. So it paid like 1566 to win. So if you read the article on Saturday, If you played it for $20 to win, you got $156 back. You're welcome. Uh, and we will be live again this Saturday. No idea what we're doing because the road to the Kentucky Derby is finished. We did do a little bit different last week because we did have a review of the standings. Thankfully, because I'm off Friday, I can really work on the standings and even look at the Oaks standings. The Oaks will be a little easier because it's only 14 horses. The Kentucky Derby, you have 20, and then you don't have anything like that. Uh, so I'll be looking at that on Saturday. What tracks? I have no idea. And by the way, I gave out another winner today. So um, um, let me see here. Um, Laurel has a bunch of races. Oaklawn has 3 races. At Charlestown, we have the Confucius say, "He who sit in pew fart in church." He who fart in church sit in pew. Excuse me. Uh, you know, we'll figure it out. I haven't. I don't know what maybe we do Oaklawn. Maybe we'll do that one more time because they got 2 weeks left in their meet.
Okay.
No, it might be Oaklawn because that's the race that Daily Racing Form is giving on Saturday.
Oh.
So we may be going with that. So, um, so we'll figure that. I mean, I'll finalize that later in the week, but it looks like we're going to do Oaklawn. The Oaklawn handicap is this weekend. $1.25 million the owners are running for, and we'll see what happens with all that. Uh, and then Derby week. I told you earlier tonight.
Yeah, you did.
I am making a return appearance to the world headquarters, and you know, I'm obvious. I mean, I may. I'm still thinking about doing a Monday show,
Hmm.
but since I'm off that week, I mean,
Right.
we could do it like middle of the afternoon if we wanted to, and we won't need. I won't need these extra lights because the sun will be coming
Right.
in.
True. True. Okay.
But you know, that's something we can figure out if we want to do that. And if we just want to take the week off, we can. But um, I'm probably going to have a segment each day on the Bleacher Brothers show because we do have a PD and he has a list of names that he wants me to interview on my show on Saturday mornings. And I also said that I was also asked, do you mind? Would you tape interviews? I'm like, oh, yeah, why not? So a lot of stuff going on here, and um, maybe also eligible to switch us around a little bit. Some interviews here and there, but we'll still have we'll still have that. But or maybe if I do an interview and I let the show run a little longer,
Yeah.
maybe it's one of those Saturdays I work and I'll be working here, and if I know the interview is a long one,
Right.
oh fuck it, I'm going to work. Let me just run this interview for the last.
Possible.
But that's all that coming up here. So um, did you see that our vice president has butterfingers?
You told me about that earlier.
Well, let me see. Let me get a good article here. Let me get a good video here that's longer. Um, let's use the Forbes one. So, Ohio State University, we know they won the national championship. Whoop de doo. Even though they lost to that team from up north for the fourth straight year, I think it was. So, JD Vance, um, I can't think of a good thing to say for JD about a fumble like this, but um, so President Trump hosted Ohio State's national championship team at the White House, and watch what happens. This is a great helmet. Yeah, I got to work on the voice.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a great helmet. It's the helmet of champions, and whatever else I want to say, but I can't. It won't come to me right now. There you go. Well, first, let me give myself one of those for the microphone, and then one because I didn't show the video, even though I was playing it in my ear for a minute and a half, and one because I just fucking feel like it. Okay, now we'll see what happens here. Now, you hear the band playing "We Are the Champions." That is the um hold on, let me it's the US Marine Corps band playing it. And this is what happened. Mike, now you get to see it. And there you go. Here goes the trophy. All right.
Butterfingers.
So he dropped the base of the trophy, and apparently it's two pieces. Uh, Thankfully, nothing broke.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, did Ryan Day call JD Vance a motherfucker? You motherfucker!
I wouldn't be surprised.
And then he said, "Oh, by the way, it's two pieces. You're good."
You're good.
Yeah, unlike that team up north, even though they beat us 4 years in a row. But so after speeches by Trump, Ryan Day, and Vance, JD Vance on the South Lawn, the vice president, who is an Ohio State graduate, tried to hoist aloft the trophy. I don't think he realized it's in two parts, and we saw what happened.
Yep.
It's designed to separate from its black base. After some struggling, the vice president lost the grip of the two pieces. Running back Trevion Henderson, standing behind Vance, grabbed the football-shaped top of the trophy. The base fell to the ground, forcing Vance to grasp around as it rolled a short distance. So, we've seen trophies break. There was one in bowling where guy lifts the trophy and it just goes boom, and it goes.
Oh.
By the way, even though this is not a trophy thing,
Mhm.
a couple of weeks ago, one of my microwave plates was sitting on the um on the stove. What
Mhm.
I do is when I do a bunch of things at once, because what I do is I put the 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 clean stuff over there, and then I will then go and put them in the shelves or
Right.
whatever. So one of the microwave plates broke on me.
Oh.
I mean, it just went. It was sitting here like this,
Right.
and it just went. Poosh.
Okay.
I'm still finding shrapnel from that damn plate.
Wow.
I was vacuuming a little bit yesterday.
Right.
I found a piece at your chair there, the front right leg. I'm like, the then I realized, then I noticed like the different colors. I'm like,
Uh huh.
oh, that's part of the plate that's still finding pieces from. Because I got most of it up. It's just that you have these little itty bitty microscopic pieces
Yeah.
that
'Cause when it
pop up
broke,
from
yeah.
time to time.
Yeah.
Where's it coming from? But
Yeah.
but can you imagine if that actually did break? I'm sure the college football playoff people would say, "Yeah, we'll get you a new trophy." Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Because you did win the national title. You're the first one to win the playoffs and all that. But and they're going to change the format eventually.
Oh, you know that. Yeah. They're gonna keep it for next year, but the following year they're gonna change it.
Well, I mean, just even the seeding will be different next year
Okay.
because I just think that they planned on the conference winners to not only being 1, 2, 3, and 4 seating wise, they figured they would end up being ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, something
Right.
close when it didn't happen.
Right.
But some of the players around the vice president winced. You heard the Marine Corps band, which performs at presidential events, had to compete with audible gasps from the crowd as they were playing "We're the Champions."
Messing up that beautiful song for what he did.
Yeah. So Henderson and Day helped Vance reassemble the trophy. The vice president later held just the top. Well, if you just hold the top, sometimes that does get you in trouble. Oh wait,
Sometimes. Yeah.
no. As pictures and videos of the fumble rocketed across the internet, the vice president tried to explain away the gaffe with self-deprecation. I don't want anyone after Ohio State to get this trophy, so I decided to break it.
Not gonna work.
Um, Trump credited Ohio State with winning the college football championship despite adversity, including that loss to that team up north. That school, Amazing Yellow, has that M.
Yeah.
Um, but Vance also used part of the speech to mention the Buckeyes' biggest rival, singling out an audience member in a Michigan hat. I don't know who let the guy over in the corner there in a Michigan hat into the celebration, but I'm about to tell the Secret Service you got a dangerous weapon, sir. But I mean, even with that guy, you know how you have your Eagles days at school or whatever team,
Yeah.
or there's always one kid who'll wear Cowboys, Mets if it was a Phillies thing, or me if it was a Penn State day, I'd make sure I'd wear like any other school, because Penn State scum. Um, you know, I just think that I mean, I even think that's funny that some guy showed up in a Michigan hat.
I can see that.
Was it done on purpose? We'll never know. Probably,
Yeah.
but at least I can joke around with that,
Yeah.
with everything, and you know, but it is what it is. Um, so I survived 7 straight days of handicapping Keeneland, and believe it or not, my spreadsheet is up to date.
Whoa. Bravo to you.
Just shows that I have too much time on my hands. I did I joked around the other day. Um, Let me see, because I didn't post too much on X. Um, I said, where is it? Um, I must have said it while I was working one day last week. Here it is. I was doing it while I was watching the baseball game and working at the same time. I need to learn someday to update my stats more than once every blue moon. Catching up on about 6 weeks of stats is a pain in the ass. Because I just I won, I lost, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh shit.
I'm glad you caught up. That's a
But
good
and I'm ahead a little bit this month.
thing. Okay.
Last month was a little bit better than February because February was an epic shit show.
Right.
But yeah, I did give the winner today. Um, um, Let me see. LASIK.com on Twitter is really um, goes after umpires and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to show this. Whoops, wrong one. Wrong one to zoom in on. Here we go. This is from the game. And better vision, better call. Still offering all MLB umps free LASIK. Miller. Philly location will be ready after the game. And there was the pitch, which was nowhere near the plate.
Right.
And that was strike three, which was not even close. Now, if JT really wanted to get kicked from this game, instead of grabbing his helmet, he should have went like this, calling for a review, which he's not getting because it's not in the major league system. But
Right.
probably next year, that is going to be reversed and be a ball four.
Yeah.
So, but there was a game a week or two ago where the one Cardinal game, they did it 22 times allegedly, and the umpire said, "Do it again, you're going." But I'm surprised umpires just don't say, "All right, do it again, you're going."
Yeah.
But to do it 22 times in a game, well, first of all, it shows that you're having a bad day.
True.
But that was interesting in itself. Um, um, just trying to see here. Anything else worth mentioning? Tampa Bay did hold on to win 16-1 tonight.
Ooh. They just barely pulled that out.
Mm-hmm. And we have a new track to look at tomorrow. Well, even though they got it wrong here, they have it on the page here on the upcoming races here.
Mm-hmm.
They have it listed as Indiana Grand. They've been Horseshoe Indianapolis for the last 2 or 3 years, but whatever. So it's starting to get to spring and summer. Some of those spring and summer tracks are coming up little by little. And Horseshoe Indy will be the Tuesday race tomorrow. So just give those that read my articles any heads up on that. And hopefully I don't screw up the article today because I didn't put the picture properly and all that. So I was like, then I had the same picture twice. Like, I got to delete this now and all that. So it's like, it just turned into an epic shit show. Typical me stuff when I'm not awake. Now the question is, well, why didn't you post it at 2 o'clock? I wanted to go to fuck the bed. It was like, because one thing is, at the very beginning, I sent the article to AJ. He posts it when he gets up in the morning.
Right.
Now I'm in control of everything. I can post it 2 o'clock in the morning. I can post it at midnight if I kick you out here in 5 minutes and all that, and write the article real quick and post it. Or I
Right.
could do what I usually do, which is at least have the article written. Because just piecing it together is about 5-10 minutes at the most. Because I proofread as I go along and all that. So I end up doing what I have to do, and and we're ready to go. And if it's early enough in the morning, then I time it that it publishes at 11:15 automatically, or I just post it right away. So you know, and sometimes I forget the link right away, but I still share it when I get a chance and all that. And you make it look like you read it when you really don't.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry, you read it. I'm sorry,
Thank you.
but he doesn't play them. Dude.
I'll read it.
Yeah, it's good bathroom reading. You wonder, okay, will this horse take a dump in the paddock while I'm sitting here taking a dump reading this story?
Compare. Yeah.
But so it's a little bit of a slow night here for the most part. You did have the WNBA draft tonight. Paige Beckers was number one, no shocker there. And a bunch of people after her. You know, I don't follow college women's college basketball like I should, but it is what it is. So Mike, that's it for this show. Do appreciate you coming up here.
You're welcome.
And we'll do it live again tomorrow. Well, I will tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and also eligible will be Saturday. Probably looking at Oaklawn. Maybe we'll throw in something else. I said I was going to throw in possibly a third race. I didn't do it last Saturday. The heck with you. Uh, what do you want? I gave you a nice winner.
So touchy, so touchy.
So so I'll be back tomorrow, and we will be one day closer to the weekend. A 4-day week for yours truly. A 0-day week for him. And we'll have some fun. So that's it for now. I'll see you in the winner circle. Hope everybody has a great night, and thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.